Welcome back to Breaking Skyrim. In our last episode, we had finished up the College of Winterhold, and we're doing a loop here in Dawnstar after starting the Dawnguard DLC. So, the loop being to boost smithing and enchanting. I found the enchantments I was looking for, and I enchanted my gauntlets and my boots to give me carrying capacity and sneak. We're going to be breaking sneak eventually, but right now it's not that great. I mean, you can see, people can see. But, if you take certain skills, like Muffle to silence your armor, and then Fenwick's welcome, you can get right by people. Fenwick's does not last long for the invisibility, obviously. So, if you do have invisibility and you have the chance to cast it, you can be a silent ghost. But I just like having the sneak to get the drop on people when it comes to casting magics. If you're in sneak mode and they're across the map and you start blasting them, they won't know where you're at first. It takes them a minute. And like I said, eventually it will be broken. But for right now, we're heading south out of Dawnstar. What is that? Wraith? So the main thing I like doing when I break my destruction, I just like using the flame cloaks. In this case, I'm using Mara's Wrath, which is an upgraded flame cloak that also does a little bit of restoration in warding off undead, which is always nice. I do believe this camp falls under attack by some bandits. Yep, and that's big enough distraction to go and find their chest. Aha. Now, I know that the cursor's telling us to go that way, but we're gonna head this way to find the Hall of the Vigilant. If you've already found it, then, you know, by all means travel to it. If you're just gonna stand here... The main reason I want you to find the Hall of the Vigilant first is because there's a pathway up through the mountains. We just passed it. And not to mention, the first time you come here, there's, unless you come before the vampires attack at a low level, there's a whole lot of things that you can take with you from all the carnage. And then once you're done looting, come back down around. And then here you can see the path. You're going to be taking up the mountain. Pardon me. Now mind you, there's a couple of reasons I like using Mara's Wrath instead of just basic Flame Cloak. For one, it does more damage even though it lasts half as long. But the main reason being is it wards off undead, and I do believe most of the undead that we're about to face are weak enough to be affected by it, so it effectively splits up groups for you. But I'm just gonna go at it two-handed swinging. Actually, we have our sneak, we might as well use it.
never know when to give up. I thought we'd taught them enough of a lesson at their hall.
To come in here alone. A fool to tell the rest of them.
Huh. Well, that was off. That was better. But again, as you can see, they have no idea where that came from. Do I do. And although you can't get sneak attack damage off of it, on Novice, doing the highest destruction spell you have is just devastating in itself. Why did you have so many torches? Oh, Tolan. He didn't make it. Or we didn't make it in time. However you want to roleplay it. Again, feel free to spice things up as you see fit. You know, any story you can put behind the major quest lines just enhances the whole playability of the game, at least for someone like me. Oh, holy ebony sword, that's money if nothing else. So I come back here to get this switch, opens that gate, and loot. Always loot. Now, of course, you don't have to do sneak. Most people prefer to play sneak, but I think it's a little slower pace just because you creep around. But you can always jump to go a little bit faster. Eventually, if you go down the perk tree, you can get a quick roll to go sprinting. And if you're holding a proper weapon in your left hand or even a shield, you can do an infinity roll. It's rather nice. I'm going to come back here. I can't see. Mind you, I just messed my whole sneak up. I should have mage lighted. Because now I'm illuminated. But, honestly, it shouldn't matter much. I just need to be able to see. Skeletons will start to spawn. Yeah, they saw me. I'm looking for the vampire. There you go. Oh, almost got them all in one shot. Now, admittedly, even though I love playing Destruction, my aim is terrible, so feel free to make fun of me in the comments. That's why I make it infinite. It's because if I miss, I at least want to be able to fire again. You know? And coming on through to here. Loot anything useful. Got an enchanter's table if you need it. Ooh, grand. And now this will raise your sneak with them not being able to find you. Yeah, let's just change that out. There it is. That way it doesn't follow me. Now there are 3 different chambers you can go into from here. One is the path we need to go. This one, which is a master chest, which feel free to get it if you want. I'm not going to bother at the moment. And then the last one will spawn a Death Lord out of a sarcophagus, which I think is this one over here. Indeed. Now I'm going to switch to Touch of Death, because I don't want Splash at the moment. He saw me. Now, you might be asking yourself, Why no splash? Well, for one, they do that jump whenever you get them this way. And for two, if I did do splash, I might upset the items. No, am I mistaken? Maybe it was the one with the chest. Nope. Huh. Well, usually there's a couple of items in these sarcophagi. These crypt spaces. The little catacomb. Ah, yep. There we go. Now you can see that bow. You can see that it's enchanted. Yet another reason I like having telekinesis. For one, we can see what it is. And for two, we can bring it in case we want it. Now, I think there was... Yep. Another one over here. Oh, come on. There we go. But the only way I've ever found to get those is telekinesis. Honestly, I didn't even notice them for the longest time. But there you go. Now you know. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's go with flames. Getting hard to see. Now, if you haven't noticed through my gameplay yet, I don't really use shouts. It's a lob effect. I can't lob it. Oh, and Touch of Death has a range. It has a very limited range. You need to be close. About the same range as you do for your Sparks, Flames, Frostbite, and Vampiric Drain. So anything long distance, I suggest using Elemental Blast. Oh, he's a strong one. And all the skeletons out. I didn't want your bone meal. And again, I'm just doing a little bit of sneak to start breaking it. Eventually, there's several ways to break it. One of my personal favorites is going and grabbing a invulnerable companion. He's rather annoying, to be completely honest, especially in a sneak playthrough, because he will detect you and for some reason sell you out, tell people what he saw. That's what you get for partnering up with a talking dog. But when you have your armor broken for illusion, then you can infinitely go with your muffle and your invisibility, and he is trained to follow you but can no longer see you. So it is a constant leveling up and sneak. Very, very minute, but it's the fact that it's a constant. So if you're traveling across the map to get to somewhere you haven't been close to before, then he's going to constantly boost your sneak. Yeah, I've talked of it before about how it's finding ways to do things as you're going along. You know, never stop leveling up, never stop gaining that experience. And that's one of them. Now, mind you, there are so many other techniques for raising sneak. Get in good with the graybeards and just keep sneak attacking them. I am personally a fan of doing it right off the bat in Helgen before we ever leave the tutorial. That's how I like to do my sneak characters. But later on in the game, if you're just trying to gain some more levels or, you know, find those quality of life perks like Lightfoot so you don't set off traps. Super great to have even if you're, you know, two-handed and heavy armor like me with no sneak. Just because traps can surprise anyone at any time. Not fun when they do. Alright, now that we've gone through the main caverns, we're going to enter the main chamber.
show you anything, vampire?
Now, mind you, I'm not sure if I said this
I ought
before,
to
but
stand
I'm
up.
only doing this to become a
Stronger than any
vampire. I don't
suffering you can
really
inflict on me.
do the
I
Dawn
believe you,
Guard
Vigilant. And I don't
storyline.
think you even know what you found here.
I can't even say that I've actually gone with
Sure
the
that
Dawn
was
Guard. I
wise,
always like
Loki.
being a
You
vampire
still
just
might have told
because,
us
you know,
something.
reasons.
We haven't gotten any.
But seeing exactly... Ooh, that's nice. Seeing exactly... I already have health, don't I? Yes.
Ourselves
He
with
knew nothing.
Seeing the
He served
benefits
his
that they give
purpose
you
by
and then
leading us to
how
this
it
place.
stacks with
Now it
Necromage,
is up to us
I
to
just
clean
couldn't
up the
resist. And they never saw anything. Slightly broken, I will admit. But that's kind of the whole point to this character. One of the things this character is very good for is, even though you start as the ultimate warrior, you can end up being whatever it is you want endgame. You know, the enchanting allows you to boost the skills you already have, or the skills that you need, like, right now I need sneak. Or not need, but it's nice to have. What saw me? Oh, yeah, I know what saw me. It was this button over here. No, I'm not joking. That looks like it hurt. Alright, now we have a small puzzle. It's actually very easy to solve. See where this ring conjuration magic ends in the stream. Just push the brazier to the stream. Brazier, however you want to say it. And continue to follow the stream through all of them. Wherever it ends, just make sure you put one of the braziers? English is weird. So this one wraps this way. So, continuing. I remember I've had a glitch before where this whole purple aura did not show up. I was just doing a guessing game. And that was not a fun day. But now that you've got it all completed, that unlocks this whole tomb, which is just one of the coolest animations I've ever seen in a Bethesda game. And we activate the monolith to... what? It's a woman! And she's mysterious.
Where is... Is he... like me?
Can't you tell just from looking at me? A vampire.
That explains the eyes.
Not fond of it? Well, look, I can help you find out what that is. My family... By the way, my name is Serana.
Nice to meet you. And now she has a few other options if you like to get to know her a little better or whatnot. If you try and treat her like a regular follower at this point, she'll just laugh you off and continue to follow you. Which, another little benefit, if you don't want to be a vampire, you can actually just never take her home. She will follow you infinitely. She cannot die because she has plot armor. So, that's actually quite useful. Another thing that's quite useful, these gargoyles always have ore on them. I've never seen them have anything else but gemstones and ore, so I suggest taking it always. I'm just doing that so I can see where I'm going, because I do believe I need to go... There it is. So, Novice Conjurer. He got stuck in the wrong place. I don't even want that. But he had 2 coin purses on him. And a nice hat.
This feels like the right way. I'm starting to worry.
But problem with Mage Light, you have to cast it on a surface. Candlelight at least follows you, which is why I prefer it. But now that we're going stealth, that's a little anti-productive. And the last thing that we want is anti-productivity. That's a fun word to say. Now, when you enter this room, you want to come all the way over to the right. I've seen people miss this time and again, but here's a tome of necromantic healing. It is the only way that I've ever found to heal the undead. So, if you wanted to heal Serana whenever you get her as a regular follower. That's the only way you can do it.
Does the air feel heavy down here? I'm a little woozy, but it might just be from waking up.
I mean, I'm pretty sure your neck has to be sore. You had it crocked to the side there, and you were probably stuck in there for centuries, if not millennia. Okay. Just for fun.
I knew I
And that's another reason I don't like using it. Half the time, I'm too worried about hitting who's with me. Really? Huh, well, good to know. Now, one thing that you can also do is you can get your followers with it.
Ran off.
That way it's easier for them to be seen, easier to see while around them. And if you're a sneak person, draws the attention to them. Unless, of course, you're standing in the light with them. But I just always thought that was a nifty little trick.
I don't like the look of this.
Oh, you don't like the look of it, eh? See you.
Who's there?
You saw nothing. Some death bell located all around. There's one big bad guy.
Where'd you come from?
There he is. You see nothing. I am not here. As you can see, that didn't work. He was just out of range. Now, mind you, this wouldn't be possible if we didn't have quiet casting. Illusion spells are the only things that naturally come with quiet casting. But just that quiet casting with some sneak perks, and you can become a ghost in the wind.
Who's there?
Who is it, tough? Now, I'm not sure while she's following you for story plot. I'm not sure if you can tick her off and make her want to leave. But that's where it happens with most of your followers. Go ahead and grab the word wall while we're here. So try not to hit her. It happens. Save often, just in case. But let's go on and get her out into the open air.
It's so good to breathe again. Even in this weather?
Now, her home is up to the northwest, but our breaking point at the Statue of Liberty is close by. So we're just gonna fast travel. Alright, and then from here, I'm gonna take the path up past the word wall. I think this is the path we want to go.
There are dragons about, traveler. warned.
Yes, there are dragons about. Are
It
you?
happened so fast.
Then
1 minute
you've
the
seen them
dragon was
too.
there, the next
We
it was
lost our...
gone.
That's gold.
Everything was
Thank you,
destroyed.
traveler. Be safe. And don't
Thank
forget
you
to
for
keep
your
an eye on the
kindness.
sky.
Okay, we're just gonna follow this path to the north. If you feel the need, you can, harvest things along the way, but we no longer need souls. Just go ahead and buy your soul gems, the grand ones, for your enchanting purposes. I'm gonna slowly walk down. Ooh, mining node. Chiron. So yeah, there's really not much to farm anymore that's necessary. Mining components, anything for smithing. I do believe our smithing now is 72. And if you really wanted to, you could easily use the caravan loop that I was doing in Dawnstar. Just keep getting all of the... Hello.
Who's there?
Keep getting all of the pelts, turning them into leather, and just keep getting leather equipment.
Done and done.
Now, as far as followers are concerned, Serana is one of the best, in my opinion. Her destruction magic is unparalleled, really. What's she does a little conjuration. And she's decent at sneak, if that's your whole thing. She's not the best. Gotta give that to one of the Dark Brotherhood. But she won't alert as many people as some other followers will. I mean, I've never had Lydia ever be stealthy. But Serana has the capability of being a vampire, as well as having a few perks in it. So can't really complain there. What is this place? Can I get close enough to discover it? No. We're gonna keep going this way. Just kind of make it to the northern shoreline and stick to it. Now, eventually, if you follow me to when I break sneak, I do throw some skill points into it. Mainly to get running and walking doesn't trigger or doesn't affect stealth. Because one of my favorite things to do then, once we have that, is break illusion on your armor, make it free, use muffle and invisibility, and then just full pace run on the map. It will literally... you saw me. It will literally allow you to get from point A to point B and not engage anybody else. Super useful in that sense. I'm just gonna go two-handed again. I think I still need to max out my two-handed anyway. Yeah, we're almost there. But yeah, it's always nice to end up basically being a ghost. You'll run past somebody, they'll never notice you there. It's rather entertaining to me. I don't know why.
Let's get indoors. Or in a cave. Anywhere, just out of this.
Okay. Well, we're almost home, so... Now I'm again waiting to fully break the armors because I already have a set of plate mail whenever we picked up Umbra in a previous video. We got a full set of plate, ebony plate. Or not ebony plate, but ebony mail. Well, ebony armor. Let's get specific. But I'm going to end up making an exact copy of said whenever I get there, and then upgrade it as far as I can, because I've mentioned this before, I'm just mentioning it again. If you have a set of armor that matches another set of armor, so right now if I were to have another set of Nordic carved armor, which is what I'm wearing, but I need to have it up to flawless and have 2 enchantments on it. If I had another set exactly like this, it would weigh nothing due to the heavy armor conditioning perk that we've taken. So I'm waiting to do that because I prefer the ebony armors. Personally, I think they look the best in the game. They're not too extra like the Daedric or the Dragon, even though those statistically are better, and I will be getting them because of that. I just personally like the ebony armor. It's good protection for the weight, and I like the style. So, eventually I'm going to have that broken to the same statistics I have here on this Nordic armor with the destruction and restoration. Maybe not the carrying capacity and sneak, but I haven't found one-handed yet to do that better. But yeah, eventually we'll have it broken to where all the schools of magic, except for alteration, will be free. Or if you mix match the armor effects, you can have them all doing half. The only one that doesn't work that way is alteration, because we went all the way up to expert in alteration to get the Atronach perk. So every master spell in alteration, personally, I think is overrated. Even though mass paralysis is awesome, just like the other master spells, it takes forever to charge up. The dragon hide that we ended up receiving is actually really good because it's an 80% damage reduction, and that's all damage. But it's super expensive. I personally don't like it, and it's most convenient to fit 4 different schools into the cost reduction.
Hey, so
It's a little bit easier
go in there.
instead of trying to fit all 5. So now we're just reuniting her with her family and becoming a vampire lord.
Just keep quiet for a bit. Let me take the lead.
Hopefully this doesn't glitch out like it normally does. Sometimes Serana likes to stand outside and not go in.
After all these years, Lady Serana.
But I want you to make a mental note. As you've seen before, I have 25% reduction for destruction and restoration on 4 different pieces of armor. If you do the math, that leads up to 100%.
Trespass here. Wait, Serana?
But once we
Is
get
that truly you? I cannot
our
believe my
necromage
eyes.
perk to interact with the fact we become undead, it should raise it up to 31%, as well as the sneak on my armor
Everyone,
should end up becoming
I guess I'm expected.
I can't believe
100% instead of or 50% instead of the 40% I have. So I'll go from 80 to
My
100.
long-lost daughter returns at last. I trust you have my eldest.
So we just watched this
After
cutscene.
all these years, that's the first thing you ask me? Yes, I have the scroll.
Of course, I am delighted to see you, my daughter. Must I really say the words aloud?
It'd be nice, Dad.
Ah, if only your traitor mother were here. I would let her watch this reunion before putting her head on a spike. Now tell me, who is this stranger you have brought into our hall?
Hi, I'm broken.
This is my savior, the one who freed me.
For my daughter's safe return, tell me, what is your name?
I am broken. Who you
I am
is?
Hearken, Lord of the... By now, my daughter, not just... For centuries,
are
you lived
vampires.
here, far from the care. You have... There is but... I offer you my blood.
And if I
Then you will be-
refuse?
Perhaps you still
Oh,
need
then I end up being
convincing.
cattle. Okay, well,
Behold
fun.
the power! power that I offer. Now,
Oh
make
man,
your
you scary.
choice.
I will
Be
accept.
still.
Huh? Oh, I know. I'm a little groggy, so just wait to wake up.
Awake
come
at
on.
last.
Alright.
Good.
Less glitches today. I'm happy about that.
Power is growing within you.
Sometimes he won't talk to you.
Now you must learn to wield it.
I am ready to
With my
learn.
guidance, you would now listen to my words and do as
So
I
just do this little
instruct.
tutorial and get through it.
The true power of the ancient blood is found in the form of the Vampire Lord. Assume the mantle of the Vampire Lord, and we will continue.
So what he's talking about is we have a new power, but I want to show real quick the benefits to being a vampire. For one, your illusion spells cast are 25% more powerful. So if you're specializing in illusion, they work on even higher level enemies, which is fantastic. Even though it is not showing here with the destruction restoration being 31, I will show you where it does translate there. But Night Stalker's footsteps, we are now 25% harder to detect while sneaking. You 100% resist disease, no longer have to worry about that. You have a bigger resistance to frost, which pretty much makes you immune with everything else you've got going on. Greater magic resistance, where'd I get that from? Oh yeah, that's from the perks and alteration. Resist poison comes from being a vampire, so you can't be poisoned anymore. The downside, though, is you are now weak to fire, and that will go up as your vampire hunger increases. But now we have the Vampire Lord, which is what he wants us to use. And personally, one of the best things for me, Vampire Sight. If you're a fan of playing a Khajiit, it's like their Night Eye perk. For 60 seconds you have improved vision. I no longer need to use the Candlelight and Mage Light. Super useful, but he wants us to transform into the Vampire Lord, so go ahead and do that. Now, Vampire Lord puts you in third-person perspective. If you're not that kind of player, I'm sorry, but you get a deal. So,
In this form, you can drain the life from your foes with your right hand.
life.
With your left hand, you can wield the power of blood magic to raise the dead.
And
You
necromancy.
can also call upon the powers of night to turn into a swarm of bats.
It's kind of like the whirlwind sprint. If you didn't want to do the Greybeards, it's a
Should you run
form
out
of that.
magicka, you can descend to the ground and fight as the beasts do. Do so now, and we will continue.
So if you go into sneak mode, you end up putting the magic away, and it allows you to
You
do
are
physical
weaker
attacks.
while on the ground because you cannot access the blood magic. However, the night powers are still yours to command.
Like the bats.
Over time, your powers will grow in strength, and you will find new ways to use your gifts.
They're talking about how you now have vampire perks. A quick breakdown. You have to get Power of the Grave, but it's extra. Yeah, it's bonus. I mean, you can see how my health, stamina, and magic have all been boosted while in vampire form, but you only have the select list of abilities and spells. So if you go down the night power side, you have Detect All Creatures, so that casts Detect Life and Detect Death at the same time. Mist form, it's the same thing as the Shout of Become Ethereal, but it also helps you to regenerate while you're in that invulnerable mist state. And Slow Time is basically the same thing as Supernatural Reflexes. Everything slows down while you move faster. Going down the blood magic side, you can do a force choke like you're a Sith Lord. Pull them in from a distance, and then when they get close, it does damage. You can summon a gargoyle, which is one of the better summons in the game, but not OP. And then Corpse Curse, you can target. Target is paralyzed. Fun to play with, but not that applicable. And then Night Powers and Blood Magic are 33% less to cast. That's always nice if you're going to use the Vampire Lord. I personally don't transform often. Killing a person with a power attack. Bite restores all health. Not that great of a perk because you actually have to get the critical attack for the power attack to go into the bite while you're using your claws on the ground. Poison Talons. Melee attacks do poison damage. That's just super useful. And then my personal favorite, Night Cloak. In combat, you're surrounded by a cloud of bats. This not only has anybody in melee range take damage, but it's also nice to know that you're starting an engagement when you're in Vampire Lord, because the bats will come out of nowhere, so if you didn't see them first, the bats will let you know they're there. But it's up to you. The only way to gain perks is to drain somebody either with a bite from a melee attack or with the Drain Blood spell.
There is much to learn, but if you master the powers of the vampire,
And he's going to explain that here shortly.
few enemies will be able to stand against you.
Your favorite menu is also changed, as you can see here. So, what you have unlocked in that perk tree I just showed you, it's what will be here, but Vampire Sight. Personally, one of my favorites, just because now I can see in the dark places.
There is one last thing you must know. Slaying mortal men with your life drain grants you new night power.
Now, he says men, but you can drain life from anything and everything and end up getting some experience in it. So Draugr, animals, humans.
That is all I have to teach you.
There are 4
If you wish to
levels
be
of
reminded
vampiric
these
hunger,
lessons, you need
which is
to
what he's speaking about now, about how he has
Good. Go and
cattle
speak
here if you
to
need to
Gavin
feed,
Moretti.
but there's also
Tell
a
him
few
it is
items that you
time.
can take.
He will understand.
It's not hard to feed. The fact that we are a companion and the Archmage at the college, those are 2 places to go and feed that are easy. You know, if you're going there just to deal with the vendors, wait until nighttime and they're in their beds and feed on them. Another thing you can do is come back here.
I didn't even think
So
you
if
knew
this is
what
the
a
main
book
hall,
was, my brutish friend.
you can come this way and head into the feeding stables. If you're down here, just pick a cage and talk to the cattle. And pick the feed option. Now, certain skills that you get as you grow hungrier, Vampire Seduction, you can have a low-level creature or person completely enthralled by you, which allows you to feed on them as well. But if people see you do it, obviously it's a bad thing. Eventually you'll be able to go invisible through a vampiric power, but most vampiric powers are a once-a-day type thing. Those ones are. And also, if you're not Thane of a Hold, or, you know, have a wide popularity in an area, if you get to the highest rank of hunger, you become a blood-starved vampire that is now feared and attacked on sight, which is never fun. Another thing that you can do, right now they're counting them as stealing, but these potions of blood are a really good mobile option. Once you're in good, just do one more mission here for Harkin, and you can steal these. Well, you can take them without stealing them, I should say. But I'm not entirely sure if you can make a potion of blood either. I've never tried that. I don't really alchemy.
Our Lord's well, you've heard of the Bloodstone Chalice? It is the chalice.
Now,
He has
one
ne-
benefit,
Follow me.
if you've been
Lord Harkin has
following
never cared to
my
use the
guide,
chalice, relying on
then
his
we've
more
already
than
been
adequate
to
powers
one of the
until
areas we
now.
need to be,
This is an intriguing change. Ancestors guide.
which is Redwater Den, I want to say is what it was. Yes, Redwater Den is where they're going to be sending you. Now, we've already been there to pick up telekinesis spell. So, right now... Why are you just holding meat in a case? Anywho, right now we're just waiting for this fella to walk over to the chalice so we can take it. Now,
Excuse us.
I'm probably not
I
going to
need
do
to fetch
much
the
more with
bloodstone.
this because we accomplished our main goal. Like I said earlier... Well, now why isn't it working? I have the Necromage, don't I? I do. It probably just hasn't registered yet that I am undead. Nope, there it went. So, if you can see here, 37 points of carry capacity and a 40% better sneak. When we go over to our actual active effects, it's 46 points of carrying capacity and 50 sneak. So now our destruction and restorations are up to 31%, where they should be a 25%. This just compiles.
Why? What you
So
up to,
now,
Gunnar?
instead of our grand healing
Lord
doing
Harkin's
300
orders,
in restoration
Calm
for
yourself.
us, I think
Our
now
friend
it does
here has been
360,
ordered to fill the chalice.
which doesn't sound like much more of a benefit, but we're only at 380. And if you're waiting till 20 points of health to heal, then you've already had your avoid death go off. So, yeah, it's super even more broken now.
Indeed.
Not to
He's
mention
off
our
to
stealth
Redwater
is a little
Den.
bit better. Now, mind you, we're not that great
Then
in
Galmo and
stealth.
Orthiolf are Harkin's
Even with us having 125, we're still in heavy armor and we're still
taking the chalice.
in direct light.
Here we are. Now, this chalice needs to be filled direct.
Now, of course, how many more do I have going? I got 5 perk points on me. So if I really wanted to, I could start moving through stealth. I don't go down the lethality side of it because I'm not doing those long term, but I am going to take 1 in stealth and 1 in muffled movement. Let's just go ahead and tack that up more. So now in total I should be 150% better at sneak.
That is the source of Redwater Den. But that's not enough. Once that's done,
And then some muffled
now,
movement.
this chalice needs to be filled directly.
So it's a little
from
bit
the
easier.
bloodstone.
It's not in...
I'm sure Lord Harkin is grateful you've returned his daughter.
Yeah.
Ancestors guide you.
But now it's a little bit easier. Again, if you want to use certain skills like muffle to further reduce, and then invisibility, you can start doing pickpocket that way. But doing it this way, stealth is slowly rising because there are people around that could see you, so on and so forth. So if you wanted to turn into a shadow, this is the time. If you weren't already playing that way. So yeah, I'm gonna cut that off here. We're not doing anything else because we have what we wanted in getting our powers. Honestly, we could go to whatever's next. I am going to head to Falkreath next. The reason I want to go to Falkreath is because I am far past level 9, which is the level you need to be to start a certain Daedric quest, which again is going to give us our companion. I might, before that happens, try and get my smithing up to an 80 because I want to perk out my ebony and get my other suit of armor. Something you might take notice of now, because you are a vampire, I just stepped out into the sunlight. So now I went from 380s in health and stamina to 361, and went from a 170 in magicka down to a 156. What's even worse is while in sunlight, you no longer regenerate any of your stats, your magicka, your health, or your stamina while you're in sunlight. But because we've already broken this and made restoration free, it is easy to heal your stamina and your health because you have respite and just obvious restoration. Now you might be saying, well, I don't have any magicka because I want to go and I want to do you know, a whole nother skill. So I needed Fenwick's, but I'm in the sunlight. Now what? Well, that's easy. You have equilibrium. As long as your restoration is free, you can get your magicka back. As long as you have the health as well. And that's another reason I say always put restoration reduction on whatever you're wearing, just because if you can keep healing, they can't kill you. So one of the biggest downsides was the regeneration thing. While playing a vampire, I always hated it, and this is the best workaround I've found. As long as you can constantly heal and get magicka back, you can use whatever, whenever, for whatever. Even better when you get the 2 matching sets, then you have every option open to you. It's just a whole lot of coming into the quick menu and switching your set to do what you need to do. Still, even farther broken now that we are a vampire. Another thing, even though it's not really that noteworthy, you have Vampiric Drain. It is terrible. It does not absorb that much damage, or absorb that much health because it doesn't do that much damage. But it's still something nice to throw in on everything that you've done. Personally, for me, I just like using Vampire Sight. I don't even know why I put Vampire Lord on there. The Servant's okay too, but Vampire Sight is what I use the most, just because I don't give away my position stealth-wise, and I can still see better in the dark. And not to mention it's infinite. You can turn it on and off as you need. It lasts for 60 seconds. Super useful. But yeah, in the next video, we will be heading pretty much as far south as I can get from here. More than likely, I'd start from either Helgen or the Guardian Stone. Helgen's a little easier because go north for a second, and then there's a path that'll lead you here to Falkreath. But that's our main goal. In the next video, I'll probably pick it up from Falkreath. So, yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one.